Hey guys, welcome back to channel. In today's video, we are going to see about React props. What are the props? How we can pass it from one component to another with an example. So before we get started, props are used in every language mostly. If you know C++ and Java, and inside that, if you want to make a functional call, then we can pass the values inside a function as a prop. So for example, if there is an add function and we need to pass two variables inside that function, we pass it through props. In a similar way, if we want to pass some values from one React component to another React component, we use props. So props are short for properties. They are used to send data from a parent component to a child component in React. So props make component dynamic and reusable. Reusable means if you want to greet each and every customer or user that logs in inside your website, then you are not going to create separate card for each user with different names. You're going to create a single card and pass the names inside that card using props, which makes that card reusable. Okay, for example, this is a child component and you want to pass the name, age and a function inside it, then as a prop, then this is the method through which you can pass it. Okay, so let's try to code it. This is newly created React website which is running on localhost 3000, and inside it let's create a welcome card or a greet card, greet.js. Okay, and inside app.js I will remove this unwanted code here and just simply write greet. Okay, we don't require this file explorer, and if I try to minimize it, okay. So this is how it looks. We have a greet heading here or a simple greet message. So inside this div I will create one heading which will say hello, and there will be name which we will pass it later. So for now we get an compiled error that this name is not defined. So for simplicity I will just remove this one. Okay, our main task is to pass the name or any username from this app component to this greet component. So for that, if you remember the syntax, we can directly pass it as name here and the value of it. Let's pass it as Sam. Okay, now we had passed the prop. Now we need to fetch that name or get that name inside this component. So as we are passing it inside this component and it is a functional component, we can define the prop here, sorry, and to use it we can directly use it like this. But again we got an runtime error. It says that object are not valid as React child. Okay, so when we pass these values, it gets passed as an object, and to access the object value we need to use this dot or access parameter, and the name that we had used here is name. We need to access it using that name value. So if we use it here, we can see that the name has been accessed by this component, greet component, the one which we pass here. If we change it to Aditya, then Aditya will be rendered here. So in this way we had passed a name. Now we need to pass something different. Let's say age. So for that I will pass the age as 29, or let's say anything. Okay, keep it 29. Then I will create an h2, and here I will write age, again the same way, the prop and dot age. If you see, we got an age here. If we change the age to 23, then the age will be changed. Okay, now we had passed two prop here, name and age. Now how to pass the function? So let's create a function here which will say greet alert, and it will accept a name, and when clicked it will give an alert that this is the name of the user that we pass here. So inside greet we need to pass the function. So for that I will use the greet alert, and again use the same name of the function, it's greet alert. Here let's create a button which will have the label as alert, and in on click we can call that method using props, using prop dot greet alert. But the one thing we need to do is we need to pass the name, which we can pass as prop dot name, and the name which we had passed in the main component. If we click on this, then here it says this is Aditya. It means that our all the three props that we passed here are working. Okay, now if we don't want to use this single variable here, which is an object, we can write it separate, like name, age, and greet alert. And if we remove this prop or remove this object one, it will work the same. So okay, need to remove it from here too. You can see it is here, age is there, and if you click on alert, here too it works. So in this way we had seen how to pass the props from one component to another, or from parent component to another. There are few things which we need to understand, is that data always flows or moves downward, that is unidirectional. So here child cannot modify the parent props. Once they are passed, the child can only read those properties, they cannot modify it. So here the props are immutable, they help keep React predictable and maintain the component purity. That's why they are the read-only properties. So in this way we had seen how we can pass the props from one component to another. So let's meet in next video with some different topic. Thank you.